What's up everybody, it's JT Sports and I'm back to you guys with another video. This video I'm here for a highly requested video. I'm here for my college football week 8 picks and prediction. I'm going to be picking who I think is going to win these upcoming games this week for all the top 25 games. A lot of you guys really wanted me to do these kind of videos, so here I am. So make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. So I'm doing my week 8 picks for all of the top 25 games this week for week 8 of college football, and we have a lot of good games. So I mean, this video is probably going to take a while, so let's get into it. So the first set of games that we have number 16 Michigan 5-1 on the road at number 7 Penn State, who is 6-0 on the season. Penn State's going to be at home. Michigan is going to be on the road, and this is a very big game because whoever wins this game, they're going to increase their resume to get into the college football playoffs. And I really think that Penn State is going to win this game. So I'm going to go with Penn State to win this game. I just think that Penn State is a better team than Michigan. And although Michigan looked very impressive last week versus Illinois, Illinois isn't really that good. I still don't really trust Michigan at all. And I'm going to roll with Penn State. I just think Penn State is going to be able to score a lot more points on the offensive side of the ball. Penn State is also very good defensively as well. So I think Penn State wins that game there. Next up, we have number 12 Oregon, who is 5-1 on the season on the road at number 25 Washington. I'm going to go with Oregon to win this game. I think Oregon is going to end up winning the Pac-12. I think Oregon is the best team in the Pac-12. They're very good up front. They're fully healthy now. They were missing a lot of receivers to start the season out. They have all those receivers back fully healthy now, and we saw what Oregon did against Colorado last week. So I think Oregon ends up beating Washington on the road at Washington. I know Washington is at home, but I just think Oregon is a better team. So I think Oregon wins that game there. Next up, we have number 17 Arizona State, who is 5-1 on the road at number 13 Utah. Now, this is a very interesting matchup because Utah, besides the one mishap they had a couple of weeks ago, they have looked pretty solid. And Utah and Oregon is pretty much the Pac-12's only chance to getting into the college football playoffs. So Utah really needs to win this game. Now, Arizona State, they're interesting because they have a true freshman quarterback. So he's going to be on the road versus a very tough Utah defense, very good defense, very stingy. Utah is also very good running the football as well. So I'm going to go with Utah to win this game. I think Utah is just a better team than Arizona State. I think this game might end up being close. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if this game got decided by a field goal or something like that, but I think Utah ends up pulling off the victory. Next up, we have number 4 Ohio State, who is 6-0 on the road at Northwestern. A lot of people think this can end up being a trap game for Ohio State, but I doubt it. Northwestern is like, what, 1-4, so I'm going to go for Ohio State to win this game. I think Ohio State just absolutely obliterates Northwestern. Next up, we have Purdue, who is 2-4 in the season on the road at Iowa, who is 4-2. They're trying to rebound from a couple of tough losses that they have suffered so far. And I'm going to go with Iowa to win this game. I know Purdue is coming off of a victory versus Maryland, who they blowing out. But I think Purdue ends up losing to Iowa. I think this game is pretty much going to be a low-scoring affair. I think this game ends up being very close, but I think Iowa ends up pulling off the victory. Next up, we have number 11 Auburn, who is 5-1 on the road at Arkansas. Now, Arkansas is a sleeper team. A lot of people think Arkansas could win this game, but I'm going to go with Auburn. I think Auburn, they're still trying to look to get some redemption versus a couple of weeks ago. So, I think that they're going to end up bouncing back versus that loss that they took to the hands of Florida a couple of weeks ago, and they end up beating Arkansas. Next up, we have number 6 Wisconsin, who is 6-0 on the season versus Illinois, who is 2-4. I'm going to go with Wisconsin to win this game. Illinois has not really been that good this year, and Wisconsin, I think this is a little bit of a tune-up game before they end up getting into the meat of the schedule. They have Ohio State coming up in a week or so, I think. Next up, we have number 9 Florida, who is 6-1 on the road at South Carolina, who is 3-3, coming off of a very program-defining victory for Will Muschamp. He really needed that win versus Georgia. And I mean, South Carolina, That Georgia win is very huge for that program. If Will Muschamp gets fired, I mean, if they're trying to fire him, you can be like, oh, I got a big win versus a top 10 program, because Georgia is a top 10 team regardless of what happens. They're a top 10 team. So the fact that they were able to get that victory without their starting quarterback who got injured, I think like a backup quarterback came in, they won the game in overtime. So I think South Carolina is still going to have a lot of momentum carrying over in this game. This game is also going to be at home as well. So I'm still going to take Florida to win this game, but I think this game is going to be a little bit closer than what people think that it will be. So next up, we have West Virginia on the road at number 5 Oklahoma. Oklahoma's come off of a big win in the rivalry game versus Texas, which they look very solid for most of the game defensively. And West Virginia is 3-3, so I'm going to take Oklahoma. Now, I do think West Virginia might have a chance at an upset just because it is the Big 12, and we know how teams don't really play great defense in the Big 12, even though Oklahoma has been pretty good. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma loses this game. But I'm going to take Oklahoma just because Oklahoma is a better team than West Virginia. Next up, we have number 2 LSU, who is 6-0 on the road at Mississippi State. I'm taking LSU to win that game. I know Mississippi State, for the most part, they have a pretty solid home crowd, but Mississippi State just isn't a good football team, so I'm taking LSU to win that game. Next up, we have Louisiana Monroe versus Appalachian State. Appalachian State, 24th in the country, one of the better Group of 5 programs the last couple of seasons. Everybody talks about UCF and whatnot, but Appalachian State has been a pretty good Group of 5 school for the last couple of seasons, and they're 5-0. Taking Appalachian State to win this game. They're at home. Next up, we have number 20 Minnesota, who is 6-0 on the season. Very surprisingly, I think Minnesota is a dark horse contender to win the Big Ten. A lot of people are just writing off Minnesota, but Minnesota is a very solid program. I mean, it has some experience. Coaching staff is very good as well. So look out for Minnesota. And they're facing a 1-5 Rutgers team on the road at Rutgers. I'm taking Minnesota to win that game there. Next up, we have Temple, who is 5-1 on the season, versus number 19 SMU. Now, SMU had a scare like a week ago, and SMU is going to be at home, but I'm going to take Temple to win this game. I don't really trust SMU. I know SMU is 6-0, but they almost lost last week, so I'm going to take Temple to win this game. Temple is very good defensively. I don't think SMU is that good defensively, and this has all the makings of really being an upset, but I wouldn't really call this an upset just because SMU is ranked and Temple is not. If Temple wins this game, I wouldn't really consider that an upset. I think Temple is a better team than what SMU is. SMU is just very explosive on the offensive side of the ball, but that Temple defense is very, very good, so I think Temple ends up pulling off the win on the road versus SMU. Next up, we have Tulsa, who is 2-4 on the season, versus Cincinnati. They're going to be on the road at Cincinnati, who is ranked 21st in the country. They are 5-1. I'm going to go with Cincinnati to win this game. Tulsa isn't very good. Next up, we have number 18 Baylor, who is 6-0 on the season, at Oklahoma State, who is 4-2. Now, this is a very, very, very hard game to predict because Baylor, they're a very improved football team. They are on the resurgence. And Oklahoma State is a very solid program as well. And Oklahoma State, I think this is a very solid team. I think this is going to end up being a top 25 team by the end of the season. And Baylor, I think Baylor could end up beating Oklahoma when they end up playing in a few weeks. This game is very hard. It's a toss to you, basically flip a coin to who you think is going to win this game. Baylor, they narrowly beat Texas Tech last week, but I'm going to go with Baylor to win this game. I think Baylor is just the better football team than Oklahoma State. Next up, we have number 22 Missouri on the road versus Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt just got absolutely manhandled last week. And Missouri, after they lost a surprising opener to Wyoming a couple of weeks ago, they're starting to get back into the flow of games. And I think Missouri is going to be a team that might be able to pull off one of these upsets versus SEC school, highly ranked SEC school like Florida or whatnot in the next couple of weeks. But I think Missouri ends up winning this game. Vanderbilt is not a good football team. Missouri should easily win this game. Next up, we have 3-3 Kentucky on the road at number 10 Georgia. Georgia's looking to bounce back from a very disappointing loss versus South Carolina. Jake Fromm was not good. The offense really couldn't do anything. But I think Georgia bounces back in this game versus Kentucky here. Kentucky isn't really that good on the offensive side of the ball. They're not as good as they were last year defensively. So I think Georgia wins this game pretty easily. Next up, we have 2-4 Kansas on the road at number 15 Texas. Texas is 4-2 coming off of a loss versus Oklahoma. Their playoff chances are basically over. They still have a chance to win the Big 12. So I think that Texas wins this game versus Kansas. I think Kansas might put up a little bit of a fight in the first quarter, but I think Texas should end up running away with it. Next up, we have 2-4 Tennessee, who is on the road at number 1 Alabama. Now, Tennessee got a big win versus Mississippi State. Well, not a big win to most of us, but a big win to that program, considering what that program has been through the last couple of seasons. But they are 2-4 in the season, going on the road to face Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Alabama's going to win this one without a doubt. Next up, we have BYU 2-4 on the road at number 14 Boise State, who is 6-0 on the year. They were in a very high-scoring affair versus Hawaii. I think Boise State ends up pulling off this win here. And this is it for my Week 8 college football picks and prediction for Week 8 of the college football season. Let me know who you guys think is going to win these games down in the comment section down below. Also, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and college football videos. And thanks for watching.